Wei Wuxian had been to the silence room once before, coming from his own perpetually chaotic space filled with all sorts of strange and quirky items. Seeing Lan Wangji's snow cave-like residence left quite an impression on him. After hastily dropping off 2 wild rabbits, Wei Wuxian contemplated bringing an entire rabbit warren to Lan Wangji to liven up the silence room. Then, he thought that maybe the 2 little rabbits would pair up, and with any luck, they could give birth to a litter of baby rabbits in the silence room. At this moment, the silence room was glowing with a vibrant red, making Wei Wuxian's heartbeat quicken. When Lan Wangji led him to the dazzlingly red bed, Wei Wuxian became nervous and withdrew his hand. This bed was too fiery, too explicit, too blatant. When he was a child watching Newlyweds, such bright red and purple colors seemed only celebratory and festive. However, at this moment, just one glance at the wedding bed made it clear that the underlying purpose of these colors was to stimulate passionate and arousing thoughts. This arrangement, it was said, had to be maintained for an entire month. In other words, every night for a whole month, he and Lan Wangji had to sleep together on this bed. How could he possibly sleep like this? Wei Wuxian felt so embarrassed that his fingers curled up and he kept his head down, not daring to look at the person opposite him. Without much thought, he felt certain that Lan Wangji had seen through his little bit of awkwardness. Quickly, he turned away to avoid his gaze, pretending to be curious as he looked around, inspecting the new setup of the silence room. Suddenly, his heart softened. In the corner there was an oval-shaped little nest made of red satin, and inside were 2 round, fluffy snowballs. Little old-fashioned. You made a nest for them? The 2 little rabbits seemed to be asleep, but under Wei Wuxian's unceremonious large hand stroking them, 4 little ears perked up. He took the opportunity to catch their ears, and the 2 snowballs kicked their chubby legs in discontent, bouncing up and down. Wei Wuxian said, "Are the 2 of them getting married too?" Seeing the 2 familiar little companions, Wei Wuxian's tense nerves suddenly relaxed. He strode over to the wedding bed and tossed the 2 little rabbits onto it. The little rabbits were momentarily stunned by being thrown onto a spacious spot, but soon they began to energetically roll around on the big bed. Wei Wuxian lay on the bed, happily playing with them for a while. Lan Wangji quietly stayed there waiting for him. The 2 little rabbits rolled over to his legs and nudged him with their heads. "Wei Ying," Lan Wangji said, cradling the more active rabbit in his arms and gently stroking it. "We need to take care of the important matters now." Wei Wuxian placed the calmer rabbit on his own thigh. After speaking, Lan Wangji solemnly removed the ribbon from his forehead and handed it to Wei Wuxian. Puzzled, Wei Wuxian listened as Lan Wangji explained the significance of the forehead ribbon in the Gusu Lan clan. The little rabbits perked up their ears, as if attentively listening as well. Wei Wuxian was so shocked that he couldn't speak. The tips of Wei Wuxian's ears turned red. "So, the forehead ribbon of your clan actually means this? Then before, when Lan Wangji gently covered Wei Wuxian's hand with his own, and together they held the forehead ribbon in their palms. "It is our destiny to become couples." The sincere emotions were conveyed through their interlaced fingers. With his head bowed, Wei Wuxian's heart surged with emotions. The more active rabbit crawled over from Lan Wangji's thigh and suddenly leaped into his arms. Hugging and nuzzling the calmer rabbit, nibbling and cuddling it affectionately. The calmer rabbit licked its companion's cheek. The 2 of them tumbled around together and rolled off Wei Wuxian's thigh. With intertwined arms, they completed the wedding wine, symbolizing the union of their hearts, sharing both joy and hardship from this point onward. However, after drinking the tiny sip of ceremonial wine, Lan Wangji slowly closed his eyes. "Wei Ying," he called out softly, before suddenly collapsing onto the bed with a thump. In that instant, Wei Wuxian rapidly reviewed his entire plan of escaping from the marriage, ensuring he had not included any step involving drugging the wine. "Little old-fashioned? Are you okay?" Wei Wuxian first checked Lan Wangji's breathing and then felt the pulse on his neck and wrist, finding nothing unusual. Little old-fashioned. What on earth is wrong with you? Wei Wuxian leaned over and touched Lan Wangji's cheek, which was burning hot. Could it be that you're already drunk? After propping him up comfortably on the bed, Wei Wuxian began to undo his clothing ties. This outfit does look nice, but it's a hassle to take off with so many layers. After much effort, Wei Wuxian managed to peel off one layer of Lan Wangji's clothing and tossed it behind him. But, like peeling an onion, another layer appeared. The layers upon layers made his eyes blur. Wei Wuxian grumbled, loosening the collar of Lan Wangji's clothes, peeling them off layer by layer, counting them carefully. Suddenly, a pair of light-colored eyes stared at him, blinking. Before he had time to react, a powerful force yanked him, and the next moment, the world spun around him. Lan Wangji's hot breath, mixed with the scent of alcohol, wafted across Wei Wuxian's cheek as his body heavily pressed down on him. Lan Wangji's eyes fixated with an inexplicable expression. Wei Wuxian's eyes widened, watching as Lan Wangji's head slowly lowered towards his temple. Scorching lips lightly grazed his earlobe, leaving an even hotter trail. Those lips then gradually moved towards his neck, teasingly outlining the contours with a tantalizing closeness. Wei Wuxian froze, his heart pounding intensely. Several strands of Lan Wangji's black hair brushed softly against Wei Wuxian's Adam's apple, lightly fluttering. He swallowed nervously, almost startled by the sound of his own gulp. Suddenly, two snowballs rolled up and bumped into the arm Lan Wangji had placed beside Wei Wuxian. Lan Wangji turned his head slowly, and the two little rabbits began nibbling on his sleeve. His attention seemed to be diverted as he propped himself up and gently patted the two round, fluffy heads. Wei Wuxian let out a heavy sigh of relief, thinking to himself, "Thankfully, those little guys came to the rescue. I'll give them extra vegetable leaves tomorrow." Lan Wangji, as if nothing had happened, sat up with the same expression he had before lying down. Wei Wuxian, still shaken, sat up and waved his hand in front of Lan Wangji. "Hey, little old-fashioned, are you okay?" Lan Wangji responded, "I'm fine." Wei Wuxian gave an "oh," and then Lan Wangji fell silent. The awkward silence spread once again. Out of the corner of his eye, Wei Wuxian noticed that the two little ones were kissing. He quickly glanced at Lan Wangji and chuckled. "They really are a pair, these chubby rabbits." Lan Wangji responded with a soft, and continued to silently stare at him. Feeling uneasy, Wei Wuxian shifted his position slightly. After the rabbits finished kissing, one of them started bouncing around energetically, nudging and bumping its companion, unable to stay still for even a moment. The calmer rabbit allowed it to act as it pleased for a while. Finally, seemingly annoyed, it extended a paw to press the other down. It climbed onto the energetic one's back, slowly but steadily. The energetic rabbit initially remained restless, but after the other bit it on the neck, it recoiled and suddenly stilled. To their surprise, it obediently lay there, and gradually the two rabbits stacked perfectly atop one another. "Wait!" Things took an unexpected and subtly suggestive turn. Wei Wuxian felt it was his duty to prevent what was happening before him. He quickly grabbed the top rabbit and angrily said, "You little rascal, what do you think you're doing?" The small rabbit, which was just about to do something, was now being held by Wei Wuxian's meddling hand. It remained motionless, staring at him as if silently protesting. The rabbit underneath felt the comforting weight and warmth on its back vanish. Turning its head to look, it then stood up against Wei Wuxian's leg, trying to reach for its companion, who was now suspended in midair. Wei Wuxian's eyes flashed as he suddenly thought of something he needed to confirm. Grabbing the ears of the rabbit that was underneath, he lifted it up as well. The two furballs wriggled anxiously in midair, and Wei Wuxian strained to get a clear view of a certain part. The small rabbits fell onto the bed with a thud. With wide eyes and an incredulous tone, Wei Wuxian said to Lan Wangji, "Both of these are males." Lan Wangji's eyebrows seemed to raise slightly. Wei Wuxian felt like slapping himself hard. 2 males. He and Lan Wangji were also 2 males.